here with my brother. Then we shall go to the burg. Be safe. Keep your eyes up.
A little bit of Ren wants to be like, I could weaponize this, but then he's too gross. So
It's too
You have a
gross.
mask, you can't smell it.
I dig it. I dig it.
Put a filter on the mask. You'd be straight.
I definitely will lower my mask to prevent some of the smell coming through.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, you drop that shit down and boom.
Yeah, pretty much that
smell is
happens, and instead of me making any like reaction of like, ew, gross, I just go, bloop.
That's good shit. All right, man. Okay, so you guys are, I take it, gonna just continue on as soon as he's ready to travel. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I told them to go on ahead.
yeah.
I'm gonna be.
I'm saying you and Ymir, or I'm sorry, Ymir and Wotek, you're pretty much as soon as he's ready, you're gonna catch up as.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm gonna call. But yeah, he's leaned down over his brother right now, very concerned, not concerned about moving forward. He's gonna call Blitz stationary where they're at right now.
Okay, so as you kind of take up that position and start up the call, Ren and Akama, you guys want to head to the Telex location?
Yes.
Okay, you guys make short work of the remaining distance, and on the way, I just want to... Let's see. Real quick, Ymir, as you place the call... Nobody picks up for the first call, and it does go to a messaging service. It just simply says, "You know who it is. Leave a message."
Piece of shit.
And, okay, so you can obviously keep trying if you'd like. As Ren and Akama are heading towards the Tel-X hub, you guys pass by some kind of interesting locations. You see that there are a couple of different districts that you pass through on your way, that some of them look more exotic and kind of fantasy-based, but still are all based around, commerce, and kind of like more eclectic, high-tech, alien kind of outfitters. You're also seeing that there are lots of different dining and drinking facilities, as well as numerous shop fronts that seem to offer really, really advanced tech. This area to you, Ren especially, looks appealing, and there are a lot of different facilities you long to just have access to for a few hours to be able to do some true experimentation in a proper setting. Beyond that, you guys really only notice one particular individual that catches your eye, and it's because it is so intently observing you. As you pass by one of the more exotic looking districts, beside one of the storefronts is this individual. And as you walk by, you notice that it seems to be tracking you just as you come into its sightline, and it watches you as you pass off into the distance, seemingly. And it just seems to be extremely interested in you in particular.
Us, or you as in group, or you as a particular person?
Both of you as you're walking together. Yeah.
What is this, Jabba the Frog?
As you keep heading forward, you very quickly arrive at the Telex hub. At the front desk, you are greeted by this individual who simply looks up from what she's working on her setup and asks what she can do for you gentlemen today. With that, we'll leap back over to Ymir. Are you wanting to continue trying to call, or what would you like to do?
Ymir calls once and leaves a message. At first, his very first call that didn't go through, he leaves a message and he goes, Blitz, this is the big one. Call me back as soon as you can. Not quite agitated yet. But then looking down at his brother again after he ends the first call, his anxiety and the rage inside him that he hasn't felt in quite a while starts to spark up a little bit because of his anxiety and his concern for Wotek now, given what just happened. Because in the wild, especially the mega damage creatures, unless they are very, very sick and infected by something that's not normal.
Yeah.
So his anxiety spikes, and the next call he is frantically calling. Second time, does he get a response?
Let's take a look.
Good luck.
No response.
Damn, 3 in a row.
Second message.
He doesn't leave one. He just
Okay.
gets angry. He just gets more angry, right? And
Okay,
this
you
time,
gotta be careful because you start kind of closing your hand on the the radio,
no,
and you're like, oh,
no, not that kind of rage. More
Okay,
rage manifesting in his head and his mind, more frantically this time. So
Fair enough.
he's frantically trying to dial the number again, and
Okay.
he places a third call.
You call again. You have plenty of time for this too. You call again. Sorry, 1 second here. Right. Once again, no response. And it goes to his message.
This
Now,
time,
it's already been. They made it there, so we'll say that it's been. We'll say that it's been about like 6 or 7 minutes. Roughly. We'll say like 6 minutes, okay?
okay.
So just giving you a reference to how long it would have taken them to make it to the hub to catch us up in time. So you want to call again?
One last time.
Okay.
Good jeez.
So once again,
What the hell?
once again he does not pick up, and you get that same infuriating fucking message that seems to be mocking you now at this point.
Yeah, and Ymir is quite pissed off at this, and there is a absolute cold fire in his voice when he speaks this last message. Blitz, this is Ymir. Wotek is sick. I need your help, your advice. Next time I call, you answer. And you can tell he put some force down on that fucking end button when he is pissed off at the
Okay, right as you hit end and you're pissed and you kind of hit it kind of hard, right as you hit end, you hear, hello, And then you hit the fucking button and it fucking ends the call and you just about throw the goddamn phone. You just about throw the goddamn phone. What do you do now?
Ymir calls back, trying to steady himself and his hand. This time, hopefully, it goes through.
Oh, that's great.
This guy's busy, bro.
So you dial again, and
Slinging drugs.
as you fucking as you finally hit the numbers and stop gnashing your teeth, you hear it go through, and he picks up and he goes, yeah, okay, I'm here. What's going on? I'm looking at that chat log and I kind of can't believe that. That's wow.
I can.
It's fucking unreal, man. I was just checking all my settings to make sure I didn't have something turned on, giving me a negative or something. Okay. All right. What would you like to say? Oh, shit.
Ymir takes a deep breath, still steady in his rage inside him. He's still very up, right? His anxiety is still very much up, but he is trying to steady himself, and as he speaks to Blitz in sort of a flat affect, trying to hide his rage, Blitz can hear the exhale before he starts to speak, and he goes, Blitz, Woltek is sick. I need your help.
Okay, he goes, fuck. Him too. God damn it. All right. I think I know what the fuck's wrong with him. All right. Well, if you were smaller, I'd tell you to go fuck yourself, but I know that's not gonna work with you. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna meet up with you later on today, and I'd like to take a look at him, take some pictures, maybe take a sample. I've got a guy, and he may know he may know something to do to make this right. He goes, I've got a bad batch of shit, and you cannot sell it and make no money, or you can sell it. And I mean, I'm a businessman.
Blitz.
I'm a businessman. So
Blitz.
Yeah.
You will make this right.
Oh, God.
This is my brother. Understand?
Okay.
I will be in the burg.
Oh,
I will be in the burg.
Okay, that's
So
not
will
a problem.
Woltek.
That's not a. Everything's gonna work out. Trust old Blitzy. I got you. I'm gonna call my guy. I understand you're telling me it's a serious situation, my friend, and I'm up to speed now. There's no need for threats. You're a tall drink of water. We're gonna.
Family.
Okay,
You
all
are
right.
not.
Okay.
Understand?
Okay, it's gonna be okay. Just let old Blitzy take care. I'm gonna meet up with you. I'll give you a call. Give me a couple of hours. You can do that, right? A couple of hours. My guy he'll come. We'll get together. Everything will work out good.
2 hours.
2 hours. I can do 2 hours. We can make that work. And if it doesn't work, it'll be 3 hours, and I'll let you know. But it'll be 2 hours. It'll be 2 hours. So let me get a hold of my guy.
Blitz.
Okay.
2 hours.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Good. We're in agreement.
Okay.
2 hours. The Berg. Okay. We got it. And for reference, that's going to be. We're sitting at, I want to say, it was 8. About 8 by the time you guys got over to the Witch Hound's office. We're looking at 8:30, so we're talking like 10:30 or so. just going to make a note of that. For Blitz. Okay. Okay, at that, he just hangs up quickly, kind of ending the conversation, and obviously eager to get going on his side of things, not wanting to piss you off. You do feel a little more confident now that you've heard his bravado slip a little, and you see that he's actually, when he's in business mode, Blitz can get shit done, and you can hear that he's definitely in business mode now. So, okay, good. And this is all together. So, with that being said, you hang up, and you definitely feel encouraged, at least slightly. And by this point, Wotek has kind of roused himself. The couple of wet coughs and a couple of little farts. He seems to kind of shake it off. And as some maintenance bots seem to appear out of nowhere and start hovering over the disgusting materials that he expelled and quickly cleaning them with different ultrasonic lasers and different high-tech means of sanitation, you realize that the evidence of that horrible event pretty much has disappeared from the aristocrat within just a few minutes, and it's kind of amazing. All right, he stands up, though, and is ready to go. What are you doing?
He looks down at Wotek still with concern in his eyes, but his brow sort of furrows and softens as he strokes underneath his big chin. The big bear chin of Wotek kind of pats him on the neck and goes, "Do not worry, brother. We will get you better. You may be lazy when we get to the shop. Blitz will take care of you. Of this, I have made sure."
Okay, at this, he just kind of nods his head once in agreement and appreciation. And with a big shake of his fucking fur one more time, he starts kind of plodding forward off towards the path that your companions took. Obviously appreciating the gesture. You are, we're going to say, 6 minutes, 7, 8. As you take off, you're probably just a few minutes behind where we're starting off here. Let's see. So, as you guys are addressed by the receptionist, you notice that she has a fairly pronounced synthetic voice, but it's still relatively human. And as she addresses you and you look around the shop, you see that this is a pretty simple setup. There's a lot of kind of infrastructure, kind of server technology and so forth set up, but for the most part, it's just a simple, lots of like almost like little kiosk style booths that you just simply step into, and you can make, video calls or audio calls or just send data to whoever it is that you're trying to contact, as long as they're on this networked service. And there are several different places within the kiosks, it seems, where you can insert, data chips and all kinds of different, devices to transfer information, including, cybernetic data cables and different things like that for direct transfer. The pricing is clearly listed on some different menu style displays, basically saying that a 10-minute communication costs a flat rate of 100 credits, and then it scales to 10 credits per minute after that. And then data has its own kind of transfer rate fees, but for the most part, any normal amount of data that you're sending that isn't like, some huge voluminous kind of like the Library of Congress, but for like a stellar society or something like that. As long as it's not some huge amount like that, it's probably going to be about 50 credits to just send data. Okay, so as you approach and she addresses you guys, what would you like to say? How do you want to do this?
Hello. I would like to use one of your phones.
Okay, she says, no problem, sir. She says, can I direct you to booth number 3? And she kind of waves an arm off to her right. And as you look over, you see that one of the open booths seems to light up. And right away you hear some interior kind of like fans kick on. And you see that the displays inside all start populating with all kinds of different information and menu choices for you to be able to just tap right there on the screen what it is you're wanting to input. She asks if she can help set your call up, or if you'd prefer to do it manually within the booth. And then she also asks if she says, "Would you gentlemen care for any refreshments?" And you see that a small section of the desk in front of her slides open, and several different options of bottled beverage and canned beverage appear from a recessed portion within the desk and slide up into place as a nice little kind of automated display. As they do so, several of the popular brands and flavors that are prevalent on Rift's Earth appear. One of them is Nuka Cola. They also have a delicacy called Sci-Cola, which is actually illegal in a lot of different places due to coalition prohibition on the substance. It essentially is a kind of quasi-magical beverage that is designed to enhance or gift non-psionics with psionic abilities. If you already possess psionics, it actually enhances them and makes them a little stronger. But you have heard that it's pretty fucking addictive. And that's one of the reasons the Coalition has completely outlawed it anywhere that they do business. So, but luckily this isn't one of those places. This is a fringe establishment, shall we say. So anyway, as these beverages appear, you see that they've got the whole, kind of spotlight treatment. A little bit of smoke comes up from dispensers at their base, the whole 9 yards. And as the bottles and cans start rotating around, you see digital displays of pricing displayed on holograms that are floating by at the base of each one of the cans. So by the way, each one, everything but the Sci-Cola is 20 credits. The Sci-Cola is 200 credits. So, yeah. So she's basically just offering you refreshments, or seeing if you want to just go in and make the call yourself, or if you want to have her connected. Okay?
I'm gonna try to do it myself, but if I do need some assistance, I'll definitely reach out to you. That's okay?
Okay. She just nods and smiles pleasantly and just kind of lets you kind of walk away. As you guys head over to the booth, are you both wanting to go into the booth? There's plenty of room.
I was going to stay here and kind of give a once-over this person's unique, I'm guessing, cybernetics.
Okay.
Or whatever they have done to them. Is this person can I make... is this a person, or is this a very lifelike looking, like, droid?
As you look more closely, you're very easily able to discern, once you get around to the side a little bit, from the cabling connecting the cranium to some of the servers behind it, that it's obviously a synthetic life form of some kind, if even a life form. It could just be a very, very, very advanced answering machine, you know what I mean? So, But yeah, you wouldn't guess that this thing ever was a biological organism.
Um, I'm gonna hang back then and kind of just maybe small chat, but mostly reason for it is to kind of size this thing up and kind of inspect it. Just so,
Okay.
Go ahead and nod my head.
yeah, I'll just. Well, I didn't say all that. I'll just be like,
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna
I
hold
see
that
your
here.
intent.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotcha.
I'll go
So-
ahead and nod my head.
So Akama walks on in as Ren is kind of hanging out in the lobby there. Ren, as you're hanging out in the lobby, you do notice that, strangely enough, there doesn't really appear to be anybody else in here right now, and that's for some reason that you find that a little bit odd. Akama, as you head into the booth, it's simplicity itself, man. You literally just enter the number, and within it takes about 30 seconds to make a kind of like outbound connection with whatever kind of line they're using. And as the line goes active, you start hearing essentially like a ringing with a normal kind of phone call. Which again, guys, it's not exactly a thing, but you understand the concept that we're getting at with that.
Yeah.
In this setting. So as that line goes active, you hear a couple of seconds of just the kind of just dead tone, and then you hear the line actually pick up. And when the line picks up, you hear Harmony's voice right away come over the line, and she says, Akama, good to hear from you. How fares your group?
It's been a roller coaster, that's for sure. A lot has happened since we arrived here. I do apologize for not contacting you instantly when we got here, but we had no information on where the actual telescope
Hold on just
was.
a second. Sorry. Hold on just 1 second. I just realized something. So, Akama, I need you to jump over to in-game chat only into that channel with me, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we'll be right back. Okay, so
You cut like the background music, or it's just still ambient
absolutely.
music?
There we
All
go.
right.
Hey, and if that ever seems too loud, you can open up and do your master music control.
Oh yeah.
I only keep it like that for the broadcast shit, so
No, you're good. You're good.
it is a little overpowering.
We're on the DL, guys. If you didn't know.
All right, so you guys, as the connection is made and you guys start talking, I want to be clear. Her actual image comes up and she's doing like an audio, or I'm sorry, a video call with you. Okay,
Do I
and
do one of these? Hey, what's up, Harmony?
okay, and is this kind of level of familiarity with her? You could tell that this is a little disarming to her. She kind of smiles a little bit and kind of puts her head down, trying not to show the smile because obviously she's trying to present herself as a pretty kind of stoic and serious person. But you've already had.
Heard that? I get professional. Like, ooh, sorry. Go ahead.
So as you do this, she kind of nods and she looks up and she just says, "So how fares your group? Tell me what your current location and how your mission proceeds."
So, we are currently at the Wandering Aristocrat. We are temporarily busy with some of the our small side quest that we came across. Uh, from my understanding, Ymir, our, you know, friend the giant, is tasked with something that he's going to be taking care of. It should only take, give or take, maybe about a day or two. Then after that, we're going to be heading out toward the Bitter Creek.
Okay. She says. She says, and Geiger, how fares your liaison?
She, from my understanding, is one wild individual. Something happened, and before I knew it, she was in a human form. She acted as if she was a free spirited human with no consequence behind her at all. And when I went to see her again, she was back into a more of a robotic form.
She says, this is concerning. She says, her association with Metadyne, our parent company, well, she says, our parent war company is tenuous and loose at best. She says, I won't get into specifics, but very little is known about her. And one might say that she's a kind of. She kind of looks up into the side and is trying to pick just the right words. She says, pet project of one of our field commanders. She says, I have never had what one would call complicit, or I'm sorry, true trust with that individual, as I've seen what I would call suspicious behavior on several occasions. She says, I do not mean to be overly frank about a compatriot, as she is a member of my organization. But I would have you have access to all of the information I do in order to keep yourself safe. And your group, of
Please,
course.
please, please, please. That sounds. And I give out a big sigh. That would be very uh, fortunate for us. It'll help us out in our journey to the unknown.
Okay. Um. She says. She says, I know that time is short, and so I would ask about one other issue as well, uh, if you would permit me.
Proceed.
She says, I believe that we are being tracked. And then she looks very sternly at you through the screen. And she says, I think it's about the Patriot. And I think it has to do with what happened in the power station. She says, have you had any strange encounters that could be related to this?
Um, we had plenty of encounters. Some severe, some are not. Um, I did come across a very odd individual when we were entering one of our inns in the inner court. I believe they have called it the Row. From my understanding, it was a stocky person with kind of like a top hat, skull face, mask possibly. And when I had said this to Ymir, he just stated that it was a very uh, evil like presence to not deal with. Other than that, uh,
She says skull faced. She says I need more detail. She says I would know what this individual looked like.
he kind of looked more like a voodoo voodoo type gentleman, maybe a bit uh, well fed, if I should say. Uh,
She kind of
kind of
scrunches
had
up her face a little and she kind of puts her fingers on her chin and starts kind of really trying to think as you're describing. Go ahead.
uh, he kind of had like a somewhat of a utility belt. Uh, it's very hard to describe him since it was very brief and he was far away in away in the tree line area, and it was very quick description that I picked up before we went back inside because it did seem very weird. I had turned on my my third eye, and when I seen him, he locked eyes with me, and then after that, he disappeared.
She says utility belt. Utility belt. She says anything else you can tell me about him? Voodoo, utility belt.
If anything, my best bet is that Ymir can give you a better description since he had actually been face to face with this entity.
She says, wait a minute, explain.
Um, I don't have all the details, but from my understanding, uh, they have crossed paths in the past when we were here, and it didn't seem like the interaction went well. So he decided to flee the area. But that's all I really got from when he was speaking. It's hard to understand him since he's still learning English.
Okay. She says, I've noticed Ymir has a kind of quasi godlike quality, a kind of ascended energy about him. What would voodoo? She says, wait a minute. She says, do you know if Ymir is in any way touched by demonic forces?
I want to say yes. We were in the castle, or I should say the monastery, when we all were in that area, and he went through a transformation, but I'm not sure if two and two goes together.
All right, she says, um, she says, voodoo. Possible demonic connection. Interesting. A utility belt. And then all of the sudden, her facial features, she actually turns like 2 shades more pale. And her facial features kind of slack down to a kind of disbelieving mask across her face. And her eyes just go kind of blank. Seeing this right away, it really, really concerns you. Because whatever possibility she's considering right now, it's definitely scaring her. And let's get this set. And she right away looks up at you and says, by the dark gods, I believe you are speaking of Leo Blackblood. She says he is a member of the organization known as the Hallowed. She shakes her head and actually spits on the ground in front of herself, off camera. And as she does so, you can tell that it's almost like an old, like what you've seen a lot of gypsy kind of cultures do, in that kind of like wanting to ward off the hex of just mentioning something evil enough's name. So in completion of that, she looks back up to you and she says, if indeed it is Black Blood, she says, your troubles are far worse than I would have guessed. But she shakes her head and she says, but no, that doesn't track. She says, it wouldn't be him. He would not work with, he would not work outside of his organization unless commanded to do so by his superiors. He says, I fear that someone has taken notice of the Patriot's disappearance. And she says, he had many powerful, and then she looks down and kind of around searching for the right words again, and she says, comrades, and then looks up very sternly at you through the viewfinder, and she says, I fear that those individuals know that there is something wrong with his prolonged absence, and I believe they have started searching for him. Knowing the level of power he possesses, one must simply, one need not try hard to be able to imagine what his contemporaries would do to get him back, and how powerful they themselves must be. She says, as a member of Metadine, she says, he was one of our highest ranking warriors. She says, that tier of our organization is filled with godlike beings that make me shudder every time I'm simply in their presence. She says, I am a hardened warrior used to slaying and hunting supernatural threats beyond the ken of any mortal. She says, and yet around these beings, and she just kind of holds her hands up and shrugs. She says, I would suggest that you watch, and as she says this, there's a kind of static that kind of zaps across the screen, and you see that she right away kind of looks up and kind of lowers her brow in kind of suspicion and alarm. And as she does that, you notice that a bunch of little clouds of dust and some particles from whatever the ceiling is made of where she's at seems to drift down around her head. And within about a half a second, you hear a very loud booming, thundering, kind of concussive noise go off. And she looks at you very seriously, and she says, I would warn you that it... And as soon as she says that, another one of those sounds goes off, but this time the sound erupts so close to her communications equipment that the audio instantly goes out. But the boom happens right as you see the actual physical impact through the video. So you're realizing that just like with thunder and lightning, previously the explosive energy had happened quite a ways away from her. This time it's happening right next to her. So as the audio cuts out and goes straight to static, you see that her features are pushed back in a split second in some kind of pressure wave that's hitting her, and she seems to be being kind of thrown backwards and to the side by some kind of detonation going off in what must be fairly close proximity. As this happens, her features are lit up, and you see lots of debris starting to fill the field of the camera's view as everything becomes very pixelated and grainy, and this image seems to smear and stretch for 5 or 6 seconds before the feed completely cuts out. It seems like it stopped there, but whatever malfunction happened to the camera, it kind of kept that image up and just had it all distorted for a few seconds. That all happens so quickly, you can't really tell what happened, because whatever the detonation was, it seems like by the time it happened to where the feed was corrupted, it was maybe half a second, maybe that long. So that's all you get an impression of is bright light, lots of force, and enough sound to kill the fucking audio instantly. And with that, because the call registers as completely over, right away the door opens back up and you're back you're basically joined back with the lobby.
Before everything happens, when she said the Patriot was part of us, I want to shout very loudly, "The Patriot!" So everybody in the area will know.
Sounds good. All right, let's jump back over.
I'm gonna just continue and say "The Patriot" real loud, and then the door opens.
Okay.
All
right, here we go.
I see you.
The Patriot.
Go ahead. Okay, so
go ahead and say loud, "The Patriot," and then and then.
Okay, so as Akama shuts out the Patriot and the doors open, Ren, you basically just spin around and look over to him. It's been a couple of minutes, not very long at all, but you do indeed notice that it looks like he's got an expression on his face like something's definitely wrong.
Okay.
I stand up very shocked, like what the hell just happened?
Okay.
And I come walking out of the booth with my hands up in the air, shaking my head like I don't even know what just went down.
Okay. All right. As this is happening right then, Ymir, you and Wotek get up to the facility and have just entered. The doors have just opened up for you. He obviously is staying outside, but as they open, this facility is too small for you to fit in, but it still registers somebody standing in front of it. So the big double doors in front slide open, and in the lobby you actually hear your friend's voice yell out, "The Patriot." And as you're looking down into the lobby, you see that same image of the receptionist and the interior of the building. So the receptionist herself, by the way, looks over at you, shocked, Akama, and she says in that same kind of tinny voice, she says, query, was your communication abruptly severed? Customer number, and she lists off some arbitrary customer designation ID.
I nod the being and say, yes, very suddenly.
Okay, and she seems to frown in a very synthetic manner, and she says, very well, addressing a fix repair request from our mainframe currently, and you see her eyes just kind of go blank as she seems to be addressing this digital task. Okay, so you guys are all together in the same area now. What is everybody doing?
I was planning on doing something before that during the call, but I don't know
That's
if
fine.
it makes sense anymore.
You can
That's
do it.
fine if you want to.
I mean, I was gonna try to. I mean, how long was he gone for the call?
Probably 3 minutes tops. Very brief.
Yeah. So when he went in, I was going to kind of just look around the place briefly, and then back at the employee, and kind of just start up a little bit of small talk, but mostly just trying to see if I've ever seen synthetics like this before, if it looks anything unique or different, and I'll just be like a bit of a slow day.
Okay. As you start up some small talk, you notice that this thing seems to have social protocols that include brushing off kind of banal small talk with just kind of like, a grin and a shrug kind of thing, and then getting right back to work. Not in an unpleasant way, but just simply, it definitely is good at keeping itself focused on the tasks at hand rather than chit chat. As you look it over more closely, though, you right away recognize that you've seen this kind of model of synthetic unit doing all kinds of hospitality work, especially in the cruise industry, whether it's designed for alien life forms, humanoids, whatever it is. There's all kinds of services that offer safaris, cruises, all that kind of stuff. This is a hallmark model in that field. And it's just known for kind of platform stability and being really, really versatile and reliable. So, other than that, you'd say that in general, it's just short of being well manufactured. It's put together in a very competent manner, but there's nothing really advanced, exotic or anything about either its schematics or its composition. So,
GM, before I role play again, I'm gonna need a hot 10, okay? So you guys can continue on, but I need about 10 minutes here, okay?
hey, no worries. Why don't we go
Okay.
ahead and take our we're
All
right
right.
at the 2 hour
I didn't
mark.
want to
So.
break your flow because you and Ren had something going, and I know you and Akama and Ren probably will have something going. So y'all can continue. I just need a hot 10, okay?
Hey, no worries. We
I'll
had
be back.
talked about a break every 2 hours, and we're right at that mark. Why don't we go ahead and take our break?
Okay.
Give
All right.
give everybody a
Perfect.
chance to figure out what they want to do. So, all right, guys, I'll be right back.
Sorry, I kind of missed that. What's happening?
We're taking a 10-minute break. Bear had to take a 10, so we're just gonna take a break for just an intermission.
Cool. I paused it. That phone call with Harmony was a bit different.
Yeah, I still haven't had ever a private pull out of a session thing, but it kind of threw me off because I was planning on doing something and all of a sudden it just stopped.
It threw me off too. Because, I mean, I figured that you were there so you could hear what I'm saying.
Well, I was going to try to just get a quick read because he had mentioned that it seems particularly slow. So I was going to try to investigate that and then join you, but that all kind of got.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to retcon it, so it's just going to be what it is.
Just a little crazy. Not too wild.
Yeah.
That background music. I was telling
Yeah.
him, I was just like, so do I listen to this background music while making this phone call? And he goes, oh, yeah, yeah, let me just turn it down a little bit. I said, okay. Do you remember who has the Patriot's arm?
Not exactly. I thought maybe I did, but I don't remember now. I can't find my
Well,
own. I can't find my old notebook where I had like the stuff. So I
I
started a
want to
new one.
say that you did have it because you wanted to study
Yeah.
it further.
That was the idea, but I don't remember if I handed it off to someone else for safekeeping or if I kept it on me. But I think I still had it. But yeah, I don't know.
My teeth are fucking ringing. Hmm.
Be right back. I'm running to the bathroom while we're taking
Yeah,
a break.
man.